All right, so let's look at factoring 3x squared minus 24x plus 45. Don't forget, is there a GCF that can be factored out of this trinomial? And there is one, which is 3. So we're going to fact out a 3. We have 3 times x squared minus 8x plus 15. So we were able to fact out a 3, but we're still responsible for factoring the trinomial. So now we're going to factor. We have the number of terms in that trinomial. We have 3. So yes, we will factor using our X method. So let's set up our template. 2 sets of parentheses. Fill in the variables. We have X and X. The sign of the last term is positive, so we're going to have the same signs. So it means we're going to have 2 negatives in the parentheses. Our X. What are factors of 15? That when you add those 2 numbers will give us negative 8. And that will be, we have factors of 15. I believe we did a question with 15, but we still can write them again. We have here 1 and 15, 3 and 5. So 3 and 5. But when we add the 3 and 5, it must be negative 8. So both the 3 and the 5 must be negative, as we already have that written here in our parentheses. So let's put a 3 for the last term and a 5 for the last term. But don't forget about the 3 that was factored out at the beginning. So our solution is 3 times x minus 3 times x minus 5. And there we go. Number 8, 2x squared plus 2x minus 40. Is there a GCF that can be factored out? Yes, which is 2. So let's factor out the 2. And then we have x squared plus x minus 20. We have a polynomial that has 3 terms that we're going to factor using the X method. All right, so let's set up our template. Fill in the variables, X and X. Sign of the last term, let's place the signs there. Sign of the last term is negative. So that means our signs are going to be different in the parentheses. One must be positive, one must be negative. Let's draw our X. And then we're going to look for what are factors of negative 20. That when we add those 2 numbers together, it would give us this middle term of 1. Well, let's list factors of 20. Okay, we have here listing those factors. We have 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5, and I believe that's it. So because the signs are different, this is telling us the fact that the two numbers that we choose out of the set here, yes, one must be positive, one must be negative, but when we add them together, we're going to be subtracting because of the adding of integer rules being different signs. And because we want a positive 1, when we add 4 and 5, the 4 must be negative. So negative 4 times 5 is negative 20, and negative 4 plus 5 gives us positive 1. So let's look at how we have it written. The positive sign we have first, that's okay. We know that the 5 must be positive. And the minus sign we have in the second parenthesis, that's okay. We know the 4 has to have a minus sign in front. So the factors of x squared plus x minus 20 is x plus 5 times x minus 1. And because we factored out a GCF at the first, on the onset of the question, the factoring, bring it down because that's part of the solution. So our answer is 2 times x plus 5 times x minus 4.